The ring felt cold against my finger as I stared down at Sebastian Kane, the man kneeling before me in the middle of our favorite rooftop restaurant overlooking the glittering Chicago skyline at dusk. How was this even possible? The same guy who had once locked me in a dorm bathroom and spray-painted FAG across my door back at Midwest State University was now the one promising to love me forever, his blue eyes shining with a vulnerability I never thought he'd possess. My heart hammered so hard I could barely hear the soft jazz playing in the background or the distant hum of traffic below. 10 years ago, Sebastian had been my personal hell, the star quarterback who made sure everyone knew exactly what he thought of guys like me. And now he was asking me to be his husband. I swallowed hard, memories crashing over me like waves from a storm I thought I'd left behind. It all started on move-in day in August 2012. The campus of Midwest State University in Illinois was alive with the energy of new beginnings. Parents hugging kids goodbye, laughter echoing across the quad, the smell of fresh-cut grass mixing with barbecue smoke from the welcome cookout. I was Carter Ellis, 18 years old, freshly out to my parents but still terrified of the world. Mom had cried the whole drive up from St. Louis. Dad had gripped the steering wheel and muttered, "Just keep your head down, son." College was supposed to be my fresh start, a place where I could finally breathe. My dorm room in Hawthorne Hall was a cramped double on the 3rd floor. When the door swung open and Sebastian walked in, everything shifted. He was 6'2" of pure athlete, broad shoulders straining his Midwest State hoodie, blonde hair buzzed tight, jaw like it was carved from stone. His duffel hit the empty bed with a thud. "You must be Carter. I'm Seb Kane, football scholarship. Looks like we're roommates, roomie." His grin was easy, almost friendly. We shook hands. His palm was warm and calloused from lifting. For one stupid moment, I let myself hope he was different. The first week felt almost normal. We ate dining hall pizza together. He helped carry my heavy box of art supplies up the stairs, and we stayed up late talking about classes. He was business major, I was graphic design. He called my abstract posters, "Kinda cool, man," but the cracks appeared fast. In Intro to Literature, when the professor mentioned Walt Whitman's relationships with men, Sebastian leaned back in his chair, voice loud enough for the whole row. "Bet some dudes in here are taking notes for their boyfriends." The jocks laughed. I sank lower, cheeks burning, pretending to scribble notes. After the season opener, Sebastian threw 3 touchdowns. The whole campus buzzed. He came back to the dorm after the victory party, half drunk, teammates spilling in behind him. Someone spotted my small rainbow keychain on my backpack. "Yo, Seb, your roommate's a homo?" The room exploded. Sebastian's face changed. "Shut up, guys." "But yeah, Ellis, you into dudes or what?" I muttered. "It's none of your business." He stepped closer. "In my room it is. Keep that shit quiet or we're gonna have problems." That night, I cried into my pillow after they left. The bullying started small and grew. Slurs in the hallway, my books knocked to the floor by accident. Rumors that I stared in the showers. By October, I dreaded every trip back to Hawthorne Hall. One rainy Thursday after PE, the team cornered me in the laundry room. Sebastian watched from the doorway while they made crude jokes. Later, alone with me, he grabbed my arm, shoved me into our bathroom, and locked the door. He snatched a can of shaving cream and wrote FAG across the mirror in big white letters. "This is what you are, Ellis. Deal with it or get out." I sat on the cold tile floor long after he stormed away, staring at those dripping letters until they blurred. The next morning I skipped class and called my mom, voice cracking. "I can't do this anymore." But dropping out wasn't an option. My scholarship, my future, everything depended on finishing. So I stayed. I became smaller, quieter, invisible. I stopped wearing anything colorful, kept my eyes on the floor, and counted the days until I could escape that room. Sebastian never apologized. He just kept existing as my living nightmare, reminding me every single day that loving men made me less than. By the end of freshman year, I had changed. The boy who arrived full of nervous hope had learned fear so deep it lived in my bones. And the worst part? A tiny, traitorous part of me still noticed how his laugh filled the room, how his shoulders moved when he threw a perfect spiral on the practice field. I hated myself for it. The summer after freshman year felt like a temporary reprieve. I worked double shifts at a St. Louis coffee shop, slept in my childhood bedroom, and tried to forget the word fag still haunted my dreams. Mom cooked my favorite meals, Dad avoided eye contact, and I told myself college would be better the second time around. I was wrong. When I returned to Midwest State in August 2013, the housing office had lost my room change request. Sebastian and I were roommates again. He greeted me with the same easy grin, like nothing had happened. "Missed you, roomie." I wanted to vomit. Sophomore year, the bullying grew sharper, more personal. Sebastian's football stardom had risen. He was featured in the local paper twice. The team treated our dorm like their private lounge. Late nights after losses, he took his frustration out on me. One October evening after they blew a 20-point lead, he slammed the door so hard the windows rattled. I was at my desk finishing a design project. "You think your little fairy drawings are hard?" he snarled, snatching my laptop and tossing it onto his bed. "Try carrying this whole damn team on your back." I stood up, heart slamming. "Give it back, Seb." He laughed, cold and sharp. "Make me, Ellis." He shoved me. I hit the wall, shoulder blooming with pain. No bruises where anyone could see. No witnesses. Just another night I endured in silence. My only lifeline was Mia, the loud theater major from California I met in art history. She wore purple hair and zero tolerance for bullshit. "Report him, Carter. This is straight-up abuse." Couldn't. Star athlete versus quiet gay kid in a football-obsessed town? I'd lose everything. So I swallowed it. Through winter the pattern continued. Public humiliation in the cafeteria line. Anonymous notes shoved under our door calling me every slur imaginable. Even a fake Grindr profile using my freshman photos with the caption, "Looking for a real man to fix this fag." Junior year I finally got the room change. The day I moved my last box out, Sebastian leaned against the hallway wall, arms crossed, smirking. "Running away, Ellis? Smart move. Wouldn't want to corrupt the team." I didn't answer. I just walked away feeling both relief and a strange hollow ache. The damage was already carved deep. My grades had slipped. I questioned everything about myself. Nights I lay awake wondering if the world would be quieter without me in it. Mia dragged me to the campus counseling center. The therapist, a kind woman named Dr. Patel, listened without judgment. "You're surviving, Carter. That's strength, not weakness." Slowly, I started believing her. I threw myself into my graphic design classes, won a small campus award for a pride poster I designed in secret. I dated no one, trust felt impossible, but I started to stand a little taller. Sebastian graduated a year early because of his credits and football schedule. I heard through the grapevine he'd been drafted to a practice squad in the NFL but blew out his knee in preseason. I didn't care. Or at least I told myself I didn't. By the time I walked across the stage in May 2016, cap and gown bright under the Illinois sun, I thought the nightmare was finally over. I had a job offer in Chicago as a junior graphic designer at a mid-size ad agency. I packed my car, hugged Mia goodbye, and drove north promising myself I would never look back. I was wrong again. Chicago in 2016 felt like oxygen after years underwater. I found a tiny studio apartment in Logan Square, decorated the walls with my own prints, and started my job at Kinetic Creative. The work was good branding campaigns, social media graphics, the occasional billboard. Co-workers were kind, the city loud and alive, and for the first time I breathed without looking over my shoulder. I tried dating. A barista named Tyler lasted 3 weeks until I froze when he reached for my hand in public. A software engineer named Marcus made it to 2 months before I admitted I couldn't stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Trust was a muscle I hadn't exercised in years. Every time someone got close, Sebastian's voice echoed in my head. "Keep that shit quiet or we're gonna have problems." I built a quiet life. Weekends I volunteered at the center on Halsted, helping LGBTQ+ youth design their own zines. I came out fully at work, hung a small rainbow flag above my desk, and no one batted an eye. The scars were still there, but they no longer defined every hour. Then one random Tuesday in 2019 my phone buzzed with a news alert. Former Midwest State quarterback Sebastian Cain comes out in tearful interview. The thumbnail showed him older, shoulders still broad but eyes softer, sitting on a couch with a rainbow pin on his lapel. I closed the article without reading a word. Some doors were better left shut. Life moved on. I got promoted to senior designer. I bought my first car. I flew home for holidays and watched my parents slowly, awkwardly accept that their son was happy and gay. Dad even asked once, "You seeing anyone special?" I lied and said no. The truth was I still hadn't found anyone who made the past feel distant enough. By 2022 I was 30, successful and still single. Friends teased me about my impossibly high standards. I smiled and changed the subject. What I couldn't explain was that every man I met I unconsciously compared to the ghost of a blonde quarterback who once made me feel worthless. The comparison was unfair and exhausting. Then Kinetic Creative landed the biggest account in its history, a rebrand for Apex Sports Marketing, a fast-rising agency founded by Sebastian Cain. The day the client kickoff meeting appeared on my calendar, I almost called in sick. But I was lead designer. There was no running this time. The conference room smelled like fresh coffee and expensive cologne. I sat at the long table in my best navy blazer, portfolio open, pretending my hands weren't shaking. When the door opened and Sebastian walked in, taller than memory, suit tailored perfectly, same sharp jaw but now with a short beard and kind eyes, I forgot how to breathe. He froze mid-step when he saw me. Recognition hit us both like a freight train. "Carter." His voice cracked on my name. The entire team watched, confused. I forced a professional smile. "Mr. Cain. Good to see you again." The meeting dragged. I presented mood boards while Sebastian stared at me like I was a ghost. When it ended, he caught my elbow in the hallway. "Can we talk? Please." I wanted to say no. Instead, I followed him to a quiet corner office. He closed the door. "I owe you the biggest apology of my life," he said quietly. "What I did to you in college, I was terrified. My dad was a raging homophobe. Football was the only place I felt safe, and I took all that fear out on you. I'm so sorry, Carter. I came out 3 years ago. Therapy, the injury, losing my NFL dream, it all forced me to face who I really am. I think about you every damn day." His eyes were wet. I wanted to believe him, but the boy who once wrote FAG on our mirror still lived inside me. "I appreciate the words," I said, voice steady. "But some things can't be erased with an apology." I walked out without looking back. That night I drank too much whiskey and cried on my couch for the first time in years. 2 weeks later my boss called me into her office. "Apex loved your work. They specifically requested you lead the entire campaign. It's a huge bonus if you say yes." I almost laughed. The universe had a cruel sense of humor. For the next 4 months we worked side by side. Late nights in the agency, coffee runs, revisions at his sleek downtown office. At first it was pure torture. Every shared laugh felt like betrayal to the kid I used to be. But slowly, painfully, the man in front of me was not the bully I remembered. Sebastian opened up one rainy October night while we stared at storyboards. "My dad caught me kissing a boy in high school. Beat me so bad I couldn't play the next game. Told me if I ever acted on it again he'd disown me. Football became my cage and my shield. Hurting you, it was the only way I knew to stay safe." I told him about the nights I considered dropping out. About Mia. About the years I spent believing I was broken. He listened without defending himself. He cried. One December evening after a successful pitch, we stood on his rooftop terrace overlooking the river. Snow fell softly. He turned to me, voice raw. "I don't expect you to love me. I need you to know I've been in love with you since the day I realized what I did to you was the worst mistake of my life. I kissed him first. Soft, tentative, snow melting on our lashes. It wasn't fireworks. It was coming home after a war. My family lost their minds when I brought him home for Christmas. Dad stormed out. Mom cried for different reasons. Sebastian sat through the shouting, hand in mine, calm and steady. I deserve every word, he told them. But I will spend the rest of my life making it right. Slowly, over months of Sunday dinners and long talks, my parents saw the man he had become. The crisis came in June 2024. An old teammate leaked a story claiming Sebastian was only with me for positive PR after his company went public. Headlines everywhere. My inbox filled with hate. For one terrible week, I believed the lie. I packed a bag and left. Sebastian showed up at my door at 2 a.m., soaked from rain, eyes desperate. I walked away from a $30 million endorsement deal today. Told them if being with you costs me everything, I'll start over. Because you are everything, Carter. I let him in. We talked until sunrise. The walls I'd rebuilt crumbled for good. 6 months later, on that same rooftop restaurant where he proposed, I said yes. We married in a small ceremony by Lake Michigan the following spring. Close friends, Mia as best woman. My parents in the front row holding hands and smiling through tears. Standing there in a simple linen suit, Sebastian's fingers laced with mine. I looked at the man who once broke me and saw the one who made me whole. True or false? The past can always be forgiven if love is genuine enough?